2023, the BMO Vancouver Half Marathon. Make sure you're heading over to the race page. I'm going to be pulling some information from it to start out, and then we're going to dive into the course details and specifics of what you should do to have race day success. First thing we have is the course map right through here, a zoomed in version of it, and if we zoom into the profile, you can see that that is going to be a big factor for race day success later on. You're going to start out down here, and you're going to finish at a totally different spot. So let's dive into how we can achieve race day success. Diving into race info first, let's scroll down here, and they talk about vaccines. You are going to have to show proof of vaccine or wear a mask. Down here there's some other sponsors, but going down a little bit further, then it starts to dive into some actual specifics that we need with packet pickup starting on Friday, May the 5th, 11 to 7 p.m. Saturday, the 6th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Vancouver Convention Center. Make sure you are checking in there. They have said there's going to be no packet pickup on race morning. There's also an expo. Where is the course? This is the starting line, and you can see here that this is the corrals that you will be in according to race time. Okay, marathon's going to be at that 8:30 a.m. start time. Half marathon is going to be a 7 a.m. start time. Very, very cool stuff indeed, so make sure you are there. A couple of other things, there is no gear check at the starting line. The gear check at the expo on Friday and Saturday pre-race only. Make sure you plan ahead for that because you will not be able to drop stuff off on race morning. You need to plan ahead of time. They also tell you where to go and hop off on public transportation if you are taking that. This is an image of the finish line. You can see the fan zone right throughout here on either sides. And that blue, the red is the finishers. And then there's going to be medals, photos, snacks. There's going to be some marathon gear pickup, a change tent available, and then you're going to go out here, and then it's going to be a big party time after that. Scrolling down even further here. Yep, travel smart to the finish line. Half marathoners, which we are focusing on here, are suggested to get off at King Edward Station. When is the marathon? Half marathon starts at 7 a.m. Queen Elizabeth Park. Marathon 8:30 and 8K is 9:30. There's also a virtual race and a kids run. Gear check. We already talked about that. Gear check is only available pre-race at the Health and Lifestyle Expo on the Friday or Saturday before the race. No gear check at the start line as previously mentioned. There's also event protocols here where the corrals will be color-coded based on your finish time and the start line. Arrive early to utilize gear check at the start line, which is kind of confusing because they said there is none. So I would ask that when you do check in, what's the deal with that? They talk about runner etiquette. Pacers, the half marathon times for Pacers are 1:30, 35:40, all the way up to 2:45 for Pacers. Water and aid stations. Excuse me. So water and aid stations will be out there, and what's offered on course is the noon, the exact nutrition, bananas, water, first aid, and portable potty johns. And that is pretty much the brunt of all the main things here. And now there is a live tracking plus a result. And so let's dive into the course a little bit more. I already showed you the terrain and what it's going to look like. And now if we dive in a little bit deeper, this is a course that we have created for you. And there is about 920 feet of elevation gain. You're going to start off in that Queen Elizabeth Park down through here. And you're going to make your way and zigzag through the town of Vancouver, through that park up there. And you're going to finish in downtown Vancouver. Now, starting out here, these first two, let's call it really first 3 miles, we have an elevation loss of 330 feet here. That is going to be a big chunk of our 1,000 feet of elevation loss over the course of this race. Because of this, this is going to be a very, very hot race start. Be careful out here on race day. Do not take this super aggressive, and I would let gravity do its work for you. So we have a lot of steeper terrain here. We have a lot of 2s, 3s, and there's a lot of negative 4% as well before it flattens out for that mile and a half area right through here before it dips back down again into the 5 and 6s. So again, you're going to be at the start of your race. This is going to be an area where you are going to want to crush it, but instead of you doing that, I would simply run your pace, and this is our first big key of the race right through here. This little run at the very, very beginning, you're going to fly down this, and you're going to absolutely crush this little uphill right here, and then this area right through here is going to be the spot where you need to pay attention to who you are as an athlete. Are you going too fast? Are your feet landing out in front of you? What's going on with your form? Chances are you're probably going to be ignoring that because it's the start of a race. You're going to be battling for position within your corrals or within all of the people around you. So after you find and establish your foothold in these groups here, watch out for other people going excessively fast down this hill. I would let those people go ahead of you. Don't worry about it, because if you try to follow them and you're really, really pushing the pace, not worried about form, not worried about any of that, you're going to blow up later on, specifically right around mile 9, which you will have a hill here, so just be aware of that. Now, after we get down mile 2.5, 3, that's where your race really starts here. And this section right through here is going to be the next key section out on course right here. So if we, to put it into context for you, if we are talking about it, that is going to be after you've crossed the bridge, you're walking past the expo center, and you make that little out and back turn before you head back to the city and climb back into the heart of it. This is going to be a major area out on course, because all of those people that have flown down this hill, you probably aren't going to reel them in here, but you're going to start to, okay? So this is where your race comes into effect big time right through here. The pace will be a little bit higher through here, and that's okay. But if you've totally crushed yourself on these first 2 easy miles, then you're going to pay for it later on big time. So go down this at your pace and what you can realistically do and what you have been doing in training, and then slowly start to ramp the pace up back to your race pace through this section right through here. Okay. Afterwards, there is another area that we got to talk about really fast, and that is mile 5, pretty much to mile 8.25, 8.5 right there. During this section, there's a couple unique things that do happen. It's undulating terrain right through here. You're running all along the beach road, and you enter the park right through there, and you get right up to that main road, Route 99 in there. And we're going to highlight this so we can just get a better understanding for it. You see, we only have 200 feet of elevation gain throughout this whole, 3.5 mile stretch. And this is going to be one of our areas where we are going to need to start reeling folks back in, or starting to put distance on people that we've left behind up until this point. This is going to be where nutrition and hydration play a big effect in your race, and where your pacing preceding this up to these 5 miles, that's going to be very, very critical for you for race day success. So I'm telling you, don't worry about this section right through here for these first 4.5 miles. Yeah, you're going to be running, you're going to be working hard, but the real race is starting from mile 5 to 8.5 right here. And then the icing on the cake is this hill in Stanley Park right through here, and we are going to highlight that in a little bit afterwards. So the blue section is what we're talking about here. Again, 1.7 miles with 200 feet of elevation gain, and if you're paying attention, that's most of our elevation so far. Now, when we are talking about this big hill, you can see that the elevation is getting up there. I'm at 8.3% here, right next to the aquarium, so it is going to be a steeper hill. But you can also see that once we get past this point, it does start to level out. We go down to 4, 5, 3, and then we are talking about the back half right through here. So this is why I highlighted this section right here. Most people are going to really push this hill and attack it, right? It's okay to work a little bit harder here within your levels, within your ranges, right? But what most people are going to do is they're going to get to the top here and they're going to coast, they're going to cruise, they're going to just do something easy just to recover here. This is going to be where it's an easy spot for you to attack or throw your first dig if you're within the first couple of groups, or you're running with other people that you want to distance yourselves from. Because afterwards here, that's pretty much the race. After that, we have a 2.5 mile stretch after that, and it's going to be full blast from here on out. During this section, another 250 feet of elevation gain. That's the remainder of our gain, and it's only 250 feet. So off of that, I mean, there are a couple of intense pitches. I'm not going to lie to you. There's an 8.5%er right through here where you are climbing back to the finish line, but the majority of your distance or your success in this race is going to come through right here. When these hills do kick up, yeah, it's important to be ready and fresh, but I would rather you kind of put it all on the line through this section leading up to that, and then getting to the finish line right there. once you get to this spot, it's all a mental battle. If you are around someone else, it's all about who wants it more. So that is the BMO Vancouver Half Marathon in a nutshell. The only thing that we haven't talked about, which we do need to go back to this other map, is the what is it? The aid stations out on course. You can see here that we do have this first one right after 6K. We have another one after right here, 8-ish K. We have another one, 10 and a half K. And then they're going to be peppered along throughout here. So there's really no reason to be skipping these at all. If you do want to bring some of your own gear, or what I mean by that is nutrition, if you want to bring some of that yourself and kind of supplement with the water, that would be advisable as well if you do have a specific race plan for some of your other key races throughout the year. So you can practice that on race day. So that is the Vancouver BMO Half Marathon 2023 race overview. If you have any questions on it, please reach out to me and I will be happy to discuss them in person or over the phone. Talk to you soon and good luck to everybody.